How's it going, guys? Coffee here. Today I wanted to go over my recommended league starter for Gemma3, aka Gemma Flames of Pleasure. This character was reworked quite substantially. Pretty much her hero trait functions entirely different. Before it branded or it basically saved a certain amount of damage that was done over a certain amount of time, and then Purgatory basically did that damage every 1 second. This has basically changed now to where instead of her hero trait actually dealing any damage, her hero trait now just gives you a huge damage bonus instead. But the damage bonus that it is giving is quite substantial, as well as the defenses that she is getting is quite substantial. So I'm thinking that the bonuses that she is getting just to all of the large multipliers that she's getting for damage, they're a little bit bigger than what they are on most other characters for what they're getting, as well as it looks like she's getting some nice defensive options here. So you can see in regards to Purgatory, originally it is just a circle that basically is going around the character that covers everything in range. That this can be scaled with AoE, it can be scaled with cooldown recovery. So while it doesn't last the entire time, when you first get it, you will be able to put points into this in order to have 100% uptime on it. So Purgatory now does follow the player. So think of it, it's just going to be, again, a giant circle range where everything inside of it will take increased damage against you. So you can see here, they're already taking 45% additional damage. And then at level 45, your max Purgatory charges goes up, and then the duration will go up here all the way up to 7 seconds. And then you see the skill area increases by a ton as well. Then at level 60, we have right here with Infernal Damnation, where it is making them take additional damage for every time until Purgatory is recast. So once you get this up to 7 seconds, if you have any skill effect duration as well, you can get this all the way up probably to 8. So that it is up 100% of the time. This buff will basically just reset every 8 seconds or so. So we can call it at least 70%. We'll basically say, and then it's going to basically be half of that, right? If you average the damage amount that you're getting, it's going to basically start at 10% and it's going to go up to 70 before it falls off. So we'll call it half of that at 35. So we're already at 80% more damage done with that. And then at level 75, you are getting Dress Liquor here, which is converting the physical damage you were taken to fire damage. And you can see here it converts 100% of the physical damage that you take from enemies into fire damage. So this is going to be really incredibly strong. This means that you can, again, stack yourself all the way up to as much max fire resistance as you possibly can. Make yourself incredibly tanky because you will not be taking physical damage. So this means you don't have to go into armor. You can still go into like a pure ES build and not have to worry about the downsides of not having armor. So you're still not going to get yourself in trouble with physical damage, and you're going to be able to have incredible defenses because of that. And as you see here, this is another 45% additional fire damage here. So that brings you all the way to 125% additional fire damage just from that, plus an extra 30%, right? So we're at 155% additional fire damage. Which is much more. I mean, if you've already been looking around on the other hero traits around here, most of them are not getting anywhere near this. They're getting about 20% or so max for every single one of their points. So Gemma is already, 2.5 times higher on those numbers than most of the other characters. The starting skill for Gemma Flames of Pleasure is Hammer of Ash. When you look at this at a quick glance, you're just looking at things and you're going to see like, oh, wow, this skill just got nerfed. It just got weaker. It got worse. But there is one important line that was removed. And that is right here where it says the projectile fired by the skill is not affected by projectile quantity bonuses. This has been removed. What this means is you can now, you can still shotgun now, and you can actually increase the total number of projectiles, right? So you can run this with lesser multiple projectiles right away. So you can get this to go up from 3 projectiles up to 5 right away, which, that's going to be increasing your damage by quite a bit. You can hit them with the melee effect as well as the projectiles. These projectiles do explode for quite a large radius as well. So with this, between the Demolisher charge and such, you should be able to basically one-shot your way through the campaign pretty easily and have a really nice clear with it. So really looking forward to that. I think it's going to be good. The tree itself that you are going to want to be going through here is going to be using God of Might here. So God of Might has a few things. Again, you either start off with elimination. You can run this as burnout if you want, but elimination is always good very early. And then at some point you end up swapping it over to burnout, and then you have great strength here for just a really big damage attack bonus. Everything else is just going to basically be giving you your attack skill cost to get it down to nothing. And then you have, your +1 to attack skill levels. Skill levels are extremely strong this league. They did buff the % multiplier that you are getting from skills all the way up to 12% for everything between level 20 and 30 now. And then it goes to 10% after that. This is still multiplicative, so it's still extremely strong. So that's going to be really, really effective. In regards to the other talents, what you're going to end up wanting to take next is going to be Warlord. And that is because of a few nodes. The first node that you take is really going to come down to personal preference. Wildfire will just ensure that when you do actually have something that gets into low life, it's going to start taking double damage, so it's going to die basically immediately. You don't need to, once you get Wildfire, you probably want to take Elimination off and just run the other one, because Elimination's a little worthless when you can just have the additional damage on Burnout, because you're already going to be one-shotting everything with Wildfire anyways, so you don't really need Elimination on top of that. And the real part where this build starts to shine is going to be here with True Flame. So True Flame says when an enemy is ignited, 60% of the dot damage is additional bonus from Affliction is also applied to your fire hit damage. Affliction is the only high scaling effect bonus that's in the game, right? You can scale Affliction effect. They've removed most of the sources for Aura effect, for Curse effect, for everything else. Affliction effect is the only one that remains, and there is a lot of it. So I don't know if you've seen basically from my build from Gemma3, but you can craft Affliction effect on every single piece of gear other than Necklace now. So they have pushed this really, really hard. The Affliction effect that you are getting here from your memories is going to be really high. And then from your, every single slot here is really high. The values on weapons is quite big as well. Like you're getting all the way up to 150% here for Affliction effect. And these are also advanced affixes, so they're not very expensive to make. You can get them to drop, very common as well. So you're just basically going to want to put this in a filter, and you're going to basically be seeing these everywhere. So that's going to be really, really good in regards to that. And then the amount of Affliction that you are seeing here, right, is going to be quite a bit. So if you're getting up to 50% on every single piece of gear, including your rings and everything else, right, this is just more and more damage. So it is going to be scaling quite well. With True Flame itself, it does require you that the target does have full Affliction, but you end up getting a few bonuses with this. You end up getting 24 Affliction per second with this as well. And then you can also get like Precise Deep Pain like that in order to get even more Affliction per second on the target. And if you really, really need to, what you can end up doing is swapping your last trait into Blazing Fire once you end up going Ignite. This is what you're going to want to end up doing just because you get this extra Affliction whenever you deal fire damage. So you can use this to ensure you're getting all your targets up to 100 Affliction right away. The last tree that we are going to want to be running now is going to be Warlock. This is really, really important for a few things. The first thing is Indifference now. It has lost its cooldown recovery, but it is extremely good because, again, +2 to all skill levels. That is, 12% more damage multiplicative with each other on everything right away. This is also giving you a ton of Affliction effect here through the minor talents. It is giving you the cooldown recovery that you need in order to ensure that you have 100% uptime on your Purgatory. With the other traits here with the cooldown recovery, the +1 max charges does also work with your Purgatory as well. So this basically would just ensure that you have 100% uptime on this. And then after you get all of the affliction effect here, as you can see, this is like 36 plus the 6 right here. So 36 plus 8. So there's another 54% here from this, plus the damage from Indifference, and then you get Dirty Tricks. In order to actually use all the ailments, you have a few different options early on. You can just use your Lonesome Ring. But after that, it's just like you have your Leap Slam. You're going to end up putting in your added physical damage on there. And then you can just put like an added cold on there as well to ensure that you're getting the other damage types. So you can put an added erosion or whatever you want. It's not necessarily super important to do that. The main thing is it just means that you are always going to be igniting no matter what when you go and hit things. So that's going to be really strong. And then again, you're getting all that additional affliction effect. So with this, we're looking at some really high numbers with affliction. Affliction effect is basically being pushed really hard, right? So yeah, that's pretty much where we're looking at things with this. Again, you have when you do end up going to a pure ignite version, while you're leveling, you're using True Flame, and you're scaling off of your affliction damage for this using Hammer of Ash. And then what you end up wanting to do is, as you move to a full ignite version, once you actually start to get all of your affliction gear, is you are going to end up wanting to move into using Ground Shaker. So Ground Shaker itself has a higher multiplier here for the damage. So you can see with the when you are actually using a Demolisher charge, you are getting a much higher secondary damage here. So, and you can see the damage effectiveness also starts to go up by quite a bit based on this. And then you see the effectiveness of added damage for your Demolisher skill as you start to gets into the thousands of % for this. So this is for your fissure here, the damage effectiveness on your fissure. And then there are some new special supports for Ground Shaker. You are going to end up wanting to use a hammer because this is the one that gives you Demolisher charge restoration speed. And then it does look like all the weapons here now have a fixed attack speed for the most part, it seems here. So everything is 1.5 attack speed for all of the attacking weapons, and you just craft your attack speed on them to get them up to 1.7 or whatnot. So that's going to be really nice. And then let's go ahead and look. So we have base Ground Shaker here. Once the special noble supports are available, you are going to want to be using Wrathful Vault on your Ground Shaker just for the quality of life of this. It is going to be giving a decent amount of additional damage as well as a huge bonus to attack speed. And then it makes it to where it does not use a Demolisher charge while you are using it for movement. So it will only actually do that when you are on an enemy. So this is going to be the best quality of life. It will turn your entire build into a one-button build. So you will no longer have to use Leap Slam and Ground Shaker. So this is going to be really big and really push Ground Shaker to the forefront of recommended skills. For the noble support skills as well for Ground Shaker, that isn't just the movement skill, that I believe might also be pretty good for using this as a ignite skill here. So you can see here, this would be, yeah, so it makes a much larger damage on the fissure, but it does take it a little bit longer to fully engage. So this is going to be quite a bit better for ignite since you're just looking for a really large big hit. So if you do end up getting these, we don't really know what the availability of these is going to be yet, so we're not really planning on them in any of the specific builds. I'm building around the fact that they're just not really going to be available maybe until later in the game, so they might cost some money. So I'm not actually going to be including them in any of basically the stuff that I have. This is all just early on. This is Hammer Endgame for Ground Shaker Ignite. So all of this gear is for Ground Shaker Ignite. I mean, it doesn't really matter. The gear is pretty much the same. It doesn't really change anything. So while you are leveling, there are going to be a few things that you're really going to want to be looking out for in your treasure troves. Boom gloves are going to be really good. These will be triggering Ground Shaker for you while you're still using Hammer of Ash. your marksman's bracers, if they still drop, are going to be good just because it's giving you a damage multiplier on your projectiles from Hammer of Ash. Then we have Furious Man's Loud Song here, which is just going to be additional damage when you use a Demolisher charge. And also gives you Demolisher charge restoration speed. And then the other one is Furious Man's Body. This comes from the Treasure Trove as well. So comes from the last one, so you'll probably want to push for this. It does look like it gives an even higher level of quick return now. And it gives you a nice big movement speed bonus when you use a Demolisher charge. So that should be really, really nice, just to help get you off the ground with the skills, and then make sure that melee doesn't feel particularly bad. So yeah, if you have any questions, leave them in the comments down below, and other than that, see you in the next one.